All right, back again with another top 10. This time for Eureka Entertainment, one of the great British boutique Blu ray labels. Very high quality catalog to choose from. I'm very happy with this top 10, how it turned out. So let's get straight into it. 10 movies here. Well, I guess I'll give one honorable mention. I usually don't do honorable mentions for these Blu-ray top 10s, just because I just want to get them over with quite quickly. But I'll give one because I had 11 movies that I wanted included, and I just had to cut one out. So The African Queen featuring Humphrey Bogart would be at number 11. So there you go. That's an honorable mention. Let's get into the top 10 without further ado. At number 10, I decided to go with Tokyo Sonata, which is by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. By far my favorite movie by him. I mean, I could also go with Cure. It's also a Eureka release. So, kind of, which one you want to go with? Do you want a really bleak horror movie? Or do you want a really bleak family drama movie? I'll go with Tokyo Sonata. Both are really good. So, there you go. Yeah, Tokyo Sonata. This is the most recent movie on this list also. It's from 2008. It tells the story of this family. The father has lost his job and he hasn't told anyone about it. He just, goes out in the morning like he's going to work, and then he just goes to hang out with some homeless people eating food that you get from like a soup line. And this kid from the family is playing the piano. The father hates the idea of his son playing the piano. There's some pretty horrific scenes about physical abuse and stuff like that. And then you have the wife who is just bored out of her mind. And yeah, it's pretty dark. The best scene in the movie is the final scene, like that piano scene where the boy is playing the piano. He plays Claire de Lune by Debussy, and that's probably my single favorite scene from any movie from the 2000s is that one. It's so incredibly beautiful. So yeah, Tokyo Sonata at number 10. Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Great director at times, awful director at other times. It's kind of a hit or miss with him. Some of his movies are terrible, but then you have Tokyo Sonata and Cure and stuff like that. And number 9, a movie that many people would have at number 1, or at least in the top 3, is Touch of Evil by Orson Welles, one of the later Orson Welles films. Well, it's not really that late in his career. He did stuff after this as well, but just a classic noir movie. Orson Welles is a great actor as well. He plays the bad guy here. And yeah, the opening shot of Touch of Evil, well, is it the opening shot? Well, one of the first shots, if not the first one, and one of the first shots. That incredible long tracking shot, just groundbreaking. Like Orson Welles is this, like, if you don't know the history behind the movies, like what movies were like in this era, like if you watch Citizen Kane and you don't know about the historical significance of that movie, like look into it, because you will gain a massive appreciation for the film. And it's the same with Touch of Evil. Like there's stuff in this movie that no one was really doing before, at least to this degree, and it's so well made. Now the reason why I have Touch of Evil only at number 9 is because the studio, like many other Orson Welles films, the studio just completely butchered it. The original cut by Orson Welles has never been, like, it doesn't exist in its full form, unfortunately. Or if it does, it hasn't been found. It's somewhere in Brazil, maybe, like the original film negatives and the original cut. Like, it's maybe somewhere in Brazil, but people haven't found them yet. Hopefully they do. Same with the Magnificent Ambersons and some of these other movies. Like, the studios just completely butchered them, and for that reason, this is not the best version of the film that it could be. It could be better, probably, most likely. And yeah, this is the fullest version of it. There are many different cuts here, 3 different cuts. And I've only watched the kind of a recreation of kind of what Orson Welles wanted to do with the movie, like the recreation version. That's the only one that I've watched. I haven't watched the butchered versions, but the completely butchered versions. But yeah, it could be better. But it's a great noir film, like one of the all-time great movie villains, played by Orson Welles, this corrupt kind of a police officer or detective or whatever. And yeah, it also has great performance by, what is the name of the guy? The other great actor, Charlton Heston, also best known from Planet of the Apes, of course. I'm actually not joking. I think Planet of the Apes is Charlton Heston's best performance that I've watched. That's probably heresy to many people, considering how many great movies he was in. But yeah, Janet Leigh is also here. Great cast. Some people have called Charlton Heston playing a Mexican racist. He has kind of a black face in the movie, or a brown face. Whatever. It's a movie from the 1950s. Grow up. At number 8, I decided to go with, well, having this above Touch of Evil is maybe a bit controversial, but I decided to go with Hausu by Nobuhiko Obayashi. Again, here, for the American viewers, many of these movies are Criterion films in the US, but here in the UK, different companies have released them. So this, for example, I think this is a Criterion movie from, or in the A region. So Nobuhiko Obayashi, one of the craziest horror movies ever made. Just a visual feast. Phantasmagoria is a great word that's used in the back cover here. Deranged fairy tale, yeah. It has incredible special effect sequences, like the piano that comes to life and stuff like that. It is a unique experience. Truly a unique experience. Like, you cannot go wrong with Hausu. Just a fantastic film. And here are some of the visuals from the movie. I don't usually stop to go through the booklets in these top 10 videos, but you know, I think it's worthy doing that here. Obayashi is such a strange guy, such a unique director. He didn't do many movies like this. He usually directed like cheesy teenage girl drama movies. But yeah, there you go. Hausu at number 8. Number 7, I had to include a Hong Kong film. I think this is the best one Eureka has released. I couldn't find any room for other ones, but I decided to go with Jackie Chan's Police Story, and the first one. I know some people prefer the third one. I haven't watched that, and I don't have it in the collection, so here we go, the first one. And this is by far my favorite Jackie Chan movie. I know it's a generic pick, because it's one of the best known Jackie Chan films, but I think it's like there's a reason why it is so beloved. Like, the opening section of this movie, in and of itself, is worthy of a top 10, like a mention on a top 10 list. Like, you have the Shantytown action sequence where they are driving with cars through this town, like literally through the buildings, like these shacks on the mountainside. And it is one of the most insane stunts I've ever seen. Like, they are literally just driving down a mountainside that's full of buildings, just blasting through the walls of the buildings, and everything is just getting wrecked. It's incredible. And then after that, there's the stunt with Jackie Chan like hanging on the bus window, the front window, and getting thrown off the bus. Whew, it's so good. And you also have Maggie Cheung in here, who always when a movie has Maggie Cheung in it, I always mention it. She elevates every movie to the next level. Such a warmness in her demeanor in every film. I talk about her also in a Criterion top 10 because she's in the mood for love. She's so good. One of the all-time great Hong Kong actors, just actors in general, not only actresses, but actors in general. And yeah, this is one of the few Hong Kong action movies that I think pull off perfectly the balance between the kind of romantic comedy bits and the action bits, because the Jackie Chan, Maggie Cheung romantic comedy bits, they are actually really funny also. So there we go. Police Story. Then at number 6, I decided to go with another Japanese movie, Kuroneko by Kaneto Shindo. This is an older horror movie from the 1960s. It's one of the many cat ghost movies from Japan. I think this is the best one. Very atmospheric. Has a ridiculously fun style to it. And the cats are great. The ghosts are great. It has sort of a romantic storyline going on as well. This Japanese folk horror thing going on. And yeah, it's just great. Like the back text makes the movie sound incredibly weird. A mother and daughter are raped and murdered by pillagers, but return from the dead as vampiric cat spirits, intent on revenge. Well, yes, that's what happens. It was kind of a toss-up between this and Onibaba by the same director. Onibaba, another movie where a bunch of women get like murdered and sexually assaulted. Not in that order, but the other way around. And another ghost movie as well. So it was kind of which one. I like the cat ghosts better than the other types of ghosts. So there you go. Kuroneko. Fantastic movie. And then we get to the top 5. Now in the top 5, all of the movies here that I have given a 10 out of 10 rating to. So I think these are the best of the best. The 5 definitive best movies released by Eureka. In my opinion, as a disclaimer, but whatever. Starting off with number 5. I talked about this pretty recently in a movies I watched video, but it's a long enough time, like half a year since I watched this, and now the top 10 list, so I'll include it here. The Entity, horror film from the 1980s. And yeah, I don't want to reiterate everything I said about this in the movies I watched episode, but it's a shocking movie. It's about a invisible something, ghost, poltergeist, entity, creature, something that is just harassing this woman and like sexually assaulting her. And it's based on a real story. It's based on a real life woman who had this sort of experience, or at least claims to have had this experience, where some sort of an invisible being followed her around and then at night assaulted her. And it's really, really, really dark and really horrific. And it starts immediately at the start of the movie. There is no setup. There is no getting to know the characters and then slowly building up tension. No, it's just straight up just rape. That's where the movie starts. It's ridiculously dark. And I want to show this movie maybe to a female friend at some point and kind of see what the experience is like watching this, because I watched this with like 4 men. Like, we watched this as a group. It was a Halloween movie for us. It was like the closer Halloween movie for us. So there's 4 guys watching this movie. I want to see what it's like to show this movie to a woman and get their reaction to this movie, because this is really like the most graphic, without going like it's not a gory movie, but it's really really strange, because nothing really happens. It's just an actress flopping around screaming, and then because there is no real entity, it's just nothing, it's invisible. So it's strange, but it's also really effective how it's shot. So there you go, The Entity. For my money, one of the best horror movies from the 1980s, which is saying a lot considering that the 1980s is the best decade for horror movies, in my opinion. Disclaimer, whatever. At number 4, Ace in the Hole by Billy Wilder, one of the all-time great directors, a top 10 director in the history of cinema, with stuff like Sunset Boulevard, Ace in a Hole, so many good movies. He was a master. And Ace in a Hole is a great film about journalism. It's from the 1950s, but it's still very topical. Has one of the greatest Kirk Douglas performances ever. And that's again saying a lot, because he has dozens of great performances. And yeah, it's about this journalist who finds who happens to be in the right place at the right time to get the story of his life. And then he is a corrupt bastard. That's obvious from the get-go. But he starts milking this story in a really unethical ways. Of this, like, this guy is in a cave and stuck in the cave, and it's about this rescue operation to get this guy out of the cave. And it's really fantastic. One of the greatest films about journalism, about corrupt agenda journalism. And like, if you've seen Spotlight and you think that's a great movie about journalism, watch Ace in a Hole. And I watched Ace in a Hole first, and then Spotlight, I think the same day after it, and Spotlight felt like nothing. Spotlight is the 2000, what is it, 16, 17? Like 2010s movie about the journalists who uncovered the like the pedophile ring stuff with the church, like the American journalists. Won Oscars and stuff. I think Ace in a Hole is miles better. Right, then we get to the top 3. At number 3, I have The Great Silence. Now, many of these movies I have limited editions of them, but I decided to go with just these, standard cases, because it's easier to present them and move forward faster. So The Great Silence, incredible Western from Sergio Corbucci. And I've talked about this movie many times, because also in the video game videos that I do, because this is clearly one of the main inspirations of the opening of Red Dead Redemption 2, the mountain sections. This is incredible. Like, this movie takes place in the snowiest of the snowy mountains, and it has been shot there in like knee-high just snow, and I don't know how they pulled it off. It must have been hell for the actors and the crew to pull it off, but they do. And it's again, I like movies that are really dark and depressing. This is probably the darkest Western I've ever seen. Like, there are only bad guys here. You have a great cast. You have Klaus Kinski as this sort of a psychotic killer. And you have Jean-Louis Trintignant, the great French actor, as the main like protagonist, who is this mute like gun hero. And it's about this mute character and this gang of like crazy criminals fighting against one another. And there are no winners. There are no winners. Everybody gets shot. Spoilers. It's very dark, and the ending is very, very sad as well. But yeah, I think The Great Silence is one of the all-time great westerns. It's on par with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, in my opinion. It is up there with the best of the best of the best. So there you go, The Great Silence. Then at number 2, we've got a Danish movie. And it's not Vampyr, it's by the same director. It's The Passion of Joan of Arc. Shouldn't come as any surprise that this makes the list. It's one of the highest rated films ever in a history of cinema. It's a black and white silent movie from 1928. And for a silent film, I haven't watched many of them, to be honest, but for a silent film, like if you think that black and white films are boring or that silent films are boring, like many of the younger generation people from the younger generations think this way, like everything before digital cameras is boring and borderline unwatchable. Just, if you watch this movie and you don't appreciate the artistry put into this, like, what are you even doing, man? Why are you even watching movies if you can't see the greatness of a film like The Passion of Joan of Arc? It's pretty much perfect. It is insane, like the levels of detail that they go to here. Like, this was shot in 1928. There are low angle like shots from the ground up in this movie. And on the surface, there's nothing really strange about that. But if you think about the time and what the cameras were like, they had to dig a fucking hole in the ground, like 5 feet underground, to stick the camera in there to do this one shot that takes like 5 seconds of time. Like the level that they were on in 1928 to create these movies was something else. And then you have the main performance by Falconetti, Rene Maria Falconetti. She didn't do many movies. I don't know if she did anything after this. Like, it's just this one movie, maybe something else after this, but just low key, just strolling into the movie industry, doing one movie, and it's by far one of the greatest acting performances ever. There is no one in the history of cinema who acts better with their facial features. There's probably some imagery here of Falconetti. Just these iconic shots of her face in this movie. Is there anything here? Yeah, like this stuff. Incredible. And yeah, there are very few movies just in general that I would rate higher than The Passion of Joan of Arc, so definitely deserves a spot on the list. However, there is one more film here, and I have a sealed copy of it because I haven't rewatched this in a long time. This is in my top 10 all-time favorite films. It's Harakiri by Masaki Kobayashi. Now, the funny thing is that this one is actually in Letterboxd greatest films of all time list, according to users. This is at number 1, which is very interesting because I would put Seven Samurai higher than Harakiri in samurai films if I had to rank them. But Harakiri, what is there to say about this film? It is an incredible tale of revenge, probably the most interesting revenge story ever told, about this man who, well, you can tell from the title what he's going to do, but he has a story to tell in this movie before he does what is going on there. And yeah, it's incredible. Has one of the greatest fight scenes of all time, like the final fight scene where the main guy, who is played by one of the all-time great Japanese actors, Tatsuya Nakadai, he fights to the death with everything he has. It's drawn out. It's like, it feels like 20 minutes, but it's probably shorter. It's closer probably to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes of this just fighting with everything you have, getting hit by swords, slashed by swords, but still going. And the choreography in the final scene is incredible. It puts all other samurai film, like classic samurai film fight scenes behind it. Like it's the best, in my opinion. It is incredibly strong. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I guess I've rambled on enough, so I'll move on with my life, and you can do so as well if you made it to the end. So to recap, number 10, I had Tokyo Sonata by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Number 9, Touch of Evil by Orson Welles. Number 8, Hausu by Nobuhiko Obayashi. At number 7, we have Police Story with Jackie Chan in it. Number 6, we have Kuroneko by Kaneto Shindo. And number 5, we have The Entity. Number 4, Ace in the Hole. Number 3, The Great Silence. At number 2, Passion of Joan of Arc. And at number 1, Harakiri. And then for the thumbnail, I'll use Vampire, which would be at number 12 if I made a expanded list. And number 11 was The African Queen, which was an honorable mention that I talked about at the beginning of the video. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next week for something else. Bye.